Today, I'm going to show you how to put together click flooring or vinyl flooring. Right here, we have an arm. This is for the edge of your floor, like if you're going against the wall, it'll grab onto it. You would simply use your hammer and hit the arm piece, and it would cause it to click together. Of course, with a bit more force. You have your setting bar here. We have the vinyl strip. This I use for spacers in the wall or under the wall because I don't like using wood. Wood against concrete, it kind of turns to mush and it won't hold after a while, whereas your PVC will last as long as your floors do. You'll need pencils, a knife to cut your flooring. Your square is to help you make a 90-degree angle so that it's nice and square. You also have your circular saw, and I use this for long cuts. We also have a jigsaw here in case I wanted to cut around a box, cut around my toilet, or maybe there's a door jamb in the way that I need to cut and slide it up under. We're fixing to start in another room, and I got down on the floor and I was fixing to click it together, but it's so dirty and we don't want any of that dirt trapped under our floors. For one, it'll ruin the floors for later. So let's just clean up the area a little bit, and then I'll show you how to put the click in the groove, and we can click and groove all the way through. Okay, so when we first start a floor, what we do is we pop a line. When we pop this line, that normally means that that's where our lip and our one piece of flooring is going to line right up to. I would need spacers behind it to make sure that I couldn't push any further. So in order to make sure I did that properly, what I would do is I would push the piece back, measure the spot that I need, and then I would go cut a 1/2 inch spacer for that. So right 1/2 inch on the floor, and then measure down further. Oh, this one here, I definitely need 5/8. So I'll write my 5/8, and then over the first one, it measures 3/8. So 3/8. So what we'll do is we'll make our 1/2 inch mark, one side, then the other. Draw your straight line. As straight as you can. All right, our 3/8, our 1/2 inch, and our 5/8. And what we'll do is we'll go back to where we made the marks on the floor, and we just make sure it fits. That's our 3/8. This is going to be our 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch right on the line. That will work. And then our 5/8. There. See how the biggest point lands on the line? That's what you want it to do when we push it back behind the wall. Okay? So we'll keep that in location. Bring this back. Take our pieces out. Put it under the wall, right where they're going to go. And then we'll put our pieces back under there. There you go. And your spacers will help you line it right on the line. So when you're putting them together, you have the tongue, then you have the groove. When you're using the tongue and groove, you put the groove into the tongue, and then when you use your hammer and your block piece, it comes together as one. Nice, smooth, and you can't even tell there's a line there. And tongue and groove, when you put it together, you can pull it, but it's not coming apart. That's why it's nice and sturdy. And because it's vinyl, it's waterproof. Well, very highly water resistant. Use your knife, score it, don't mark the other floor, score it twice, and then just simply use your knee or something that's not gonna hurt and pop it. Cuts easy just with your knife. And I use this for long cuts. Okay, because it's a perfect square, I'm gonna use the circular saw on this one because it would make it quick and easy. Let's say you have a piece up against the wall, but it's only 2 inches. So what you would do is you would mark your line all the way down your piece. I'm gonna put it on the other flooring because it makes it easier to cut, and I have something to grasp onto when I clamp it. Safety first. So use your face mask or your goggles along with a 95 mask so that none of the dust gets into your lungs. All right, now that that's done, we shall continue. Use your circular saw. Okay, so I followed the guideline, which was 0, and as you can tell, it's right beside the line that you've measured to cut, which is good because I want to keep this side. All right, let me finish it off. This is a whole piece. So what I'll look for is a small piece to begin with. Now when you're doing your flooring, I like it to look stepped, no pattern. So we want to make it look as chaotic as we can so that there's no pattern. And I'll make that a little bit different. Let's see, let's cut about 18 inches off. Excellent. Now we'll put it in. We'll set it. See how it's set down? And then just tap it under the wall. There we go. Nice and pretty. Now we can move on the next 2. Okay, here we go. We're gonna make sure the groove and the tongue is facing the right way. First, we'll put in the edge. Just make sure it's nice and in. Bring your part down. And now, the most important thing, hold it up at an angle so that it goes together. Easy peasy. And let me just show you what it looks like if you weren't holding it up at an angle. We'll get this next piece here, and I'll just demonstrate a little bit because I don't want to ruin the floor. What we'll do is we'll snap in the piece. All right. And instead of me holding it up, I'm just going to leave it on the floor. See? It's just not going together. But if we add that little angle, easy peasy, and it goes right in. All right, now our next piece, we can start as a whole and just keep running. I do love flooring. It is therapeutic. I get to lightly bang on things. Now, what we need to do is put it where it's going to go up under here and cut out our piece just like we did on the other side. So you'll mark where you want it, put it back under the floor where it's going to go and click in, and then you'll make that mark. When that is complete, make sure you put an X on what you're cutting out so that you know that you're not going to cut the wrong side. Remember, safety first. Make sure it comes to a complete stop before you move to the next piece. There we go. Easy peasy. Just put it up under where it's gonna go. There we go. We'll put the board, put our flooring in where it's gonna go. And instead of, there we go. Normally when you do your flooring, you have to hold it at an angle so it fits inside the groove of your other floor. There it goes. See how it's snapped in, looks nice. Now we just have a little spot to caulk in and make it watertight which is also after the floor is all done, what you want to do is either get some white caulking or some clear caulking and caulk your entire edge so that it is watertight. No water gets up under it and it won't get under your floor. All right, let's move to the next piece. Here we go. If you get into a tight spot where it's only going to be a small piece, it's kind of easy to make it one whole big long piece and then put it under there so you don't have to try to manipulate one little short piece. Okay, so if this was like an itty bitty piece, the first thing I would do is stick both pieces together, making them one, so that when you put it under, it's all one giant piece. Then you would set it all as one piece. Make sure your other end is in. Watch your angles. And see, by putting it as one whole piece, you didn't have to fiddle with that end. Okay, we're starting to work our way into a closet. So what we want to do is we want to start it to where we can at least have 3 runs before we go into the closet, hitting our pieces back this way. Then, after we go into the closet, we can easily go the other way. Nice and tight. We want our first one nice and tight. Now we'll go to the next one. Okay, very important. You need to put all your weight on this one over here to get that one to attach to this one, because I haven't run anything back yet. So this is the tricky part. Again, put your weight on it. Remember your angle. And then when it sits flat, it's all the way in. There we go. Now we'll run the next piece over so that we can have 3 into the closet before we come back. Now see how this one matches this piece here? You don't want to put 2 matching pieces side by side. So definitely reach into your pile and grab another piece. And that other piece now I can use in the closet because it's not side by side. Remember, turn your piece around, stick it where you want it, then mark it. Turn it back around, back under. Remember to hook it in. It's got to be hooked and flush up against there. Nice and tight. There we go. And Don't forget to use your weight. If you need assistance, grab a helper. There we go. Now that's beautiful. Now, inside the closet, this is going to be a little bit of a test, because as you'll notice, I don't have much room to make sure the piece gets under both sides. And just put a little trash piece under there to help you cut. All right, here we go again. Gotta slide it back under there. Oops. Hold on, don't connect it yet. Make sure it's both split between both sides. There we go. Oh, this is where that arm's gonna come in handy. If you can't reach it, grab the arm, use the arm piece over the other piece so that it protects your edge better. Make sure you have it at a little angle. Sometimes you just gotta give it a little love and a little oomph to it, and you get it all together. There we go, and none of the edges are broke. That's what we're trying to do. Not break anything and keep it looking beautiful. Now the next piece, we're going to have to measure. This piece here, because it has a lip, has to face this way. Sometimes when I'm measuring, I'll cut it wrong. Just mark your piece before you go. So bring it on in front of you. I know it can't go under there quite yet, but it will. So we're gonna bring that in front of us like that. Then we're gonna measure our spot. Now keep in mind, you still have to be able to get this piece into it to set it down into this piece, but you want it tight so it looks pretty when we go to caulk it in. So here we got exactly 4 inches, exactly at 4, but see how I marked it backwards? Remember, pull from the other way and make your measurement so that you'll cut off the right side. And this side is going to be, it is 3 7/8. So the closet is not square, but that's okay. It is a closet. 3 7/8 will make our mark. And then always put an X on what you're cutting off. That helps me so I don't bring back the wrong piece or have the wrong size. We'll take another piece and go ahead and use our marks to make a line all the way across, and then we'll cut it off with our circular saw. Make sure your saw's off. Set it down, you are golden. Now we have our little piece. It's got a lot of little plastic pieces on it, and we don't want those getting in the groove to mess up our next piece when we put it together. Just kind of dust it off real good, and then we're ready to put in our piece. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide it on back in there, just like so. If you have a putty knife or a multi-tool, something that comes in like this, it's nice and sturdy, that will be very helpful. So we're gonna use that to go back behind the board there, back behind the board. Now you'll take your arm piece, put it in, see how I left just enough room to put that in? That's important. There we go, and okay. Now what you didn't see is the whole thing moved a little bit underneath me, so I can give it back just a tad. And that's how your closet's gonna work out. Now with the rest of it, we're gonna run it normally, just like we did with the rest of the floors. When all things are said and done, sometimes you'll have little cracks or gaps that happen when you put the flooring together, and it's not that you have to replace the whole piece, but you may have to get some caulking that is color matching so that you can fill in said gap or crack if there is any, especially around your doorway. Whenever that is done and you have it nice and level, you're going to want to fill it in with a color coding caulking that is pliable. It moves and it won't harden right away and chip and crack. Another concern that has come up is your knife. Because it's going to reach the floors, it's going to become very, very dull, especially on the tip. See that? Normally that would cut like crazy. Okay, it was just brought to my attention that maybe not everybody knows how to change a blade, which is fine. Let's show you how. On this particular one, you have your mechanism that pushes the blade in and out, then you have your screw. This one also interlocks. So what we'll do is we'll loosen the screw. Take it all the way out. Bring the blade apart. Go ahead and bring your arm off. Take your blade, because it has two sides. Put the sharper side back in if it has one, which this one does not. Luckily, there are more blades inside your knife with this particular one. All right. Just put it back in. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle there. Add your blade back on and it fits right back in. There it goes. This particular blade fits right underneath the little hook, and then it sets in there so that when you're using it, it doesn't come undone. Set it back in, interlock your blade back up, and before you screw it together, just make sure it works. There you go. So you don't have to unscrew and screw again. And when you're tightening it up, just give it a nice, when it gets to the end, nice little crank, and it's ready to go. With some knives, if you over tighten them, the blade will not pop out. Easy peasy. Take your other blade, get rid of it, don't leave it laying around. Myself, I'll get a bottle, I'll make a little cut in it, and then I'll pop it in. Because I don't want it loose in my trash can, and I want it taken care of. Change your blade, make it nice and sharp, and then again, you always want to move your body out of the way and then use your knife to cut. It has come to my attention that sometimes they bring it towards your body and we want to keep it nice and safe. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below or shoot in a letter to Habitat for Humanity of Seminole and Apopka. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you kindly for watching. This is Brandy Fry saying, I appreciate you.